and Parmley here.
Hey, yeah, honor to meet you. Hey, we're live.
To meet you. We both have mic. You can hear me clearly too?
Yeah, we can hear everyone. We're live.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Yes, welcome to the weekly show of Classroom Without Walls. My name is I'm the CEO of Classroom Without Walls, and I'm the host of this weekly live streaming show. You can also listen to us on the show, listen to the show on the traditional audio-only podcast. Just search Classroom Without Walls, a school for entrepreneur. On this show, I interview leading digital marketers, entrepreneurs, business leaders to come here to share with us their best practices so that we can future-proof our business. Today, I am really excited and extremely honored to have Dennis and Tristan on the show today to talk about Clubhouse. Everyone is talking about Clubhouse, and I have tried Clubhouse a few times, but I'm not dedicated to the app yet. So really excited to learn more about the ins and the outs, the good, the bad, the ugly about Clubhouse. So make sure you stay for the entire interview. I didn't know Tristan is going to join me live, so I only have an intro for Danny. So apologies in advance.
Okay. Bonus.
Yeah, so for those of you, but you can introduce yourself. For those of you who don't know who is Dennis, Dennis is a seasoned social media marketer, a branding expert, and he has built and scaled quite a few companies and agencies. And he's a founder of Bliss Metrics, and also writes for Social Media Examiner, which is my favorite publication to learn more about social media marketing. And Dennis, I have been following Dennis for ages. And also connected in person with him. I learned so much from Dennis. So I think we're all in for a treat today to learn more from Dennis, such a distinguished leader in our space. So Tristan, why don't you introduce yourself so we can also get to know you?
Yeah, most definitely. And I'll also say Dennis has been addicted to Clubhouse as we go. And he's been talking to billionaires, multi-millionaires as well, providing so much value. It is insane. My name's Tristan. I'm the CEO and founder of Cairo Revenue. I'm partnered here with Dennis as well. And I'm apprentice of Dennis as operations manager at Blitz Metrics. And so I'm excited to learn too, because Dennis always has more up his sleeve than what I see, even when we're working together. And so he's probably going to drop some bombs about Clubhouse, just like he does on Clubhouse. So I'm excited to hear.
That's amazing. We already have dozens of people here. So thank you so much, everyone, literally from Nigeria, from Omar, from the US, from Australia, from the UK. So really excited to have you guys here. And as always, I need to give a shout out to StreamYard for being a sponsor of Classroom Without Walls. Over the last 4 years, I have tried so many different live streaming tools to go live on social media. StreamYard is my favorite. And you will see a link in the comment section where you can get a discount. So if you use my link, you can try out StreamYard for free for 2 weeks. So if you have any questions, send me a question. So without any further ado, let's get started. Super excited.
Drum roll.
So let's talk about your journey, and feel free to also share your journey, Tristan. So I read an article that you wrote, Dennis. The article is also in the comment section. Everyone check it out. It's a really great blog article by Dennis Yu. And you shared that you started using Clubhouse only at the beginning of this year. So I wonder, a few weeks have passed. Right now it's kind of the mid-January. So how do you like the app now compared to January 2nd when you published that blog where you shared your reflection on your first day on the app?
Well, I've only been there since January 1st because Michael Stelzner, who founded Social Media Examiner, said that I needed to be there. And I thought, I don't have time for another social network. I'm busy. We're scaling our business. We're hiring people. We're dealing with clients. I want to exercise. I have all these things I want to do. I don't have time to sit on an audio-only app that doesn't even save the content. So why do I want to be famous? I already know enough people.
You're already famous, yes.
But this is what will happen for the people that are just like me, thinking, I don't have time, but because everyone else is on there, I have FOMO. So I'll just go check it out, right? And then 5 minutes turns into 5 hours, and 5 hours turns into a crack house addiction. And the reason why it's become addicting is because when I opened my first room, I had no idea what I was doing, but Michael Stelzner said, hey, just go open your room. For the first 3 or 4 minutes, nobody was in the room. And I thought, oh, this is stupid. I'm going to leave. But then all of a sudden, these people started coming in, and pretty soon I had 200 people in my room.
Wow.
And I invited a couple other people. And your experience may be more, maybe less. It just depends. I've opened up rooms that have 10 people. I've had ones go much bigger. I've been in rooms that are 3,000 people where I'm speaking, which is kind of cool. But that's kind of the thing where you don't know what you're going to get necessarily. You don't need to schedule it like a webinar. You don't have to be really prepared with an agenda like a speech. Normally, like you and we have given a lot of speeches, and speeches are one-way monologues. But what happens in Clubhouse, I was going to give a talk on, because I didn't know any better. I thought, oh, okay, I've done a lot of public speaking. I'll just do a talk for half an hour on what I think the trends are going to be in Facebook in 2021. And then a few minutes in, Dan Henry pops in.
Wow.
I said, oh, hey, Dan. And then we talk for 90 minutes. And I ask him all kinds of questions. He asks me some questions. I make fun of him. He makes fun of me, right? It's a lot of fun. And some of these other rooms will have Grant Cardone or Russell Brunson or these other sorts of people. And then when they come into the room, another 1,000 people will come into the room. And here, I'll show you my screen here. I'll prove it to you. I'm in Clubhouse right here, okay? That's the activity screen. This is my profile. I'm at almost 5,000. And my strategy is that I have a reasonably rich profile saying what I do, where I can provide value, where I have expertise and what I'm looking for. And I literally say, we are training up people as certified digital marketers, hiring and giving them clients. And I say, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram if you want to share your knowledge in our program or get training. We are hiring account managers, PPC experts, a COO, and a co-founder for our companies. See, I'm literally making these requests. See this? I'm literally saying what I want. And this is causing people to come in and apply. And look at here. This is what's going on right now live on Clubhouse. These are the rooms right now in Clubhouse. I'll read them so you can understand what I'm dealing with. Daily habits of high performers. How ordinary people built extraordinary wealth and how you can do it too. These people, the 907 people in this room. Entrepreneur millionaire secrets. Strategy versus tactics. 278 people in this room. Pitch Tank Live. Some of these 900 people in this room. How to growth hack Clubhouse. 125 people in the room. A lot of these millionaires, TikTokers are getting robbed. We know what to do. How to make $360 per sale with domain investing. I was actually in that room a little bit earlier. Let's grow your TikTok. Money and time. There's a lot of this money, right? Do you see that same thing too?
Yes, definitely. I saw lots of like a millionaire breakfast club, how to make million, 7 figures, all those things. Yeah. And you mentioned so many great points, Dennis. And just from this short conversation, I know that I need to work on my profile. So is that like the rich description you shared with us? Like, is that like an SEO index? Like if we enter keyword, so will people discover us, like search that way or not yet?
No, I don't think Clubhouse is that smart. I guess you can choose the topics that you want to come in on, but really the way to think about Clubhouse is 2 things. What is your strategic ask and what is your strategic give? So how can you create value first, not self-promote? And then what do you specifically need that someone else can reach out? Yeah, Deb's right. It's the smaller rooms where the action's happening. So as long as you know what it is that you do and what you can do for other people, you will have a fantastic time, because in these rooms, it forces you. Here's one thing that I didn't really expect that may be an eye-opener for you guys, is to think, what is it? Who am I really? What do I really stand for? And every 3 months, maybe every 6 months, I need to think about that question again. Where do I really want to be? What do I need the most? Where am I struggling? Where do I think I'm doing well? Where can I create the most value? And Clubhouse has been forcing me to be this way, because before I would just work harder, or I'm just so busy working. Like Tristan and I have been so busy working here in this Las Vegas studio that sometimes we think, well, we'll just keep working really hard, right? And try to overcome the issues that we have, instead of, wait a minute, what kind of relationships can we build? So we built relationships with folks who have large businesses of communities that we can power and teach. And we've launched a new real estate business, a real estate agency, just based on a Clubhouse room that we opened. And we found people that are working with us because they want to work for us. So either side, either A, they want to be a client, and B, they want to work for us. But either way, we don't have to be the ones to do the work, because that's both sides. That's supply and demand, right? We can scale our business, ironically, by wasting time on Clubhouse, because at any point in time, if we say yes to a new client, we just need to hire someone from our network to be able to service that client, right?
Mm.
And that way we're creating jobs, which is our mission. We've been doing this for many, many years.
Absolutely.
You came to our workshop. Was it at Infusionsoft, right? Not at GoDaddy.
Yeah.
When you came that one
Yeah, it was great.
time?
A few years ago. Yeah, I'm so
Our
happy.
3-day mastermind?
Yeah, 2 or 3 days. Yeah, had a great time. Yeah, I learned a lot for sure. Yeah.
You flew all the way from South Korea to come to our workshop.
In South Korea at the time. It was a long flight. Yeah, yeah. But those are like really great points, Dennis. I think this is kind of what separates you as a business leader from many people. Like I remember when I was starting to use social media, I was really chasing after all the shiny objects, right? We all know in social media space, there's no shortage. There's new app here and there. So what you are saying is that you are able to cultivate those meaningful relationships and to even start a business, or a new line of your business based on Clubhouse. So what is something that you are doing that most people are not doing that really helps you to really leverage this platform to grow your business, as opposed to most people working so hard to grow Clubhouse, as opposed to, leveraging it to serve their own business?
What I've observed from watching Dennis that has been far different than anybody else is, and it's been quoted and said this by other high value speakers as well, that Dennis's cadence when answering questions is so clear and concise and value driven for the person that he's answering questions to actually answer their question, not to self-promote. And that one big difference, every time he speaks, he might only speak for 30 seconds. He might speak for 3 minutes. He'll get hundreds of followers.
Yeah.
And the follow-up to it is always, Dennis is dropping bombs. Dennis is dropping bombs. Yeah. Dennis is dropping bombs. But it's because he's speaking from his demonstrated example that when somebody asks a question, he only fields it if he has actually done that thing successfully himself. And so his authority on the matter is huge. Whereas many of the people on the platform who are trying to force their way into the speaking pool don't have the actual authority to speak. I learned that as a young entrepreneur myself. When I came in, I kind of got chewed up a little bit and spit back out because I wasn't used to speaking at that level.
But you have to not just have that knowledge. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to resonate with Tristan. First off, Dennis always drops so much value, and it's such a great point. I have personal experience. There were times when I tried to promote my own business in a Facebook group. I just, hey, this is the link, check it out. Like I got banned, nobody was paying attention. But on the other times, I was actually dropping value, trying so hard to answer a question, like 3 paragraphs, and people are actually giving attention to me. So I think that's kind of what Dennis is doing in those Clubhouse rooms. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. We have so many questions. We have 40 people live with us, so we have so many questions. We are going to answer all of your questions. Yeah.
I'll give you an example that everyone can resonate with. So when I was on Clubhouse in the first couple of days, I went into a room where Gary Henderson was moderating, and he's one of the top moderators and top community builders. He also runs digitalmarketing.org, which is not digitalmarketer.com. And I was so impressed because he was able to run that room. And I asked questions about how do you moderate and how do you bring people up and how do you organize the time? How do you reset the room? How do you get your room to thousands of people, right? I really wanted to know. I didn't know. He explained it to me. And I also shared some tips that I had, and he liked it so much that he invited me to his podcast, which was yesterday. Wow. And we had a great time. And so Clubhouse is creating connections like that. I want you guys to think about, like Dr. I said, don't be promoting your business. Don't be trying to sell. Be paying attention. Listen to understand instead of listen to respond, which is called active listening. And you'll find it's such a good time that it won't even be, well, I didn't get any new leads or sales. I didn't get any more business. Because if you think about it that way, Clubhouse is going to be terrible for you. It's a reflection in the mirror. And when I was in Gary's room last time, he had, who knows, 800 people in the room. Not that it needs to be a big room, right? And he asked me to share some knowledge about SEO and Facebook ads because he's followed my stuff for the last few years. And I mentioned my very best tips. And then I said, hey, if you want more, just send an email to operations@blitzmetrics.com and I'll give you our training. I'll give you the 3-day mastermind. that you and I went to at Infusionsoft's headquarters that people paid a lot of money for, I will give you that training. And then within the next 10 minutes, my email got flooded. Hundreds of emails coming in because people think, oh, you can't monetize Clubhouse because Clubhouse doesn't allow chat intentionally. Clubhouse doesn't have video. It focuses on the audio. It forces you to concentrate on what exactly you're saying. It's not something a brand can do because it's people that are actually actively sharing knowledge. And you only have the links, as you know, in your bio to Twitter and Instagram. But by literally mentioning on audio, hey, send me an email address, send me an email to operations@blitzmetrics.com with the subject line, we love Gary Henderson. And there's something I want to give you as my gift, right? Hundreds of messages. I could have mentioned a website. I could have mentioned DrI.club, right? Which you should buy that domain, by the way, right? Or School Without Borders, right? Or any of the programs that you have, right? I would buy that .club and have that be the companion website to Clubhouse where people are engaging. The .com is .commercial, which is buying and selling things. But the Clubhouse community website, think about what you could do to bridge that traffic from Clubhouse.
I mean, it's such a great point. I also read the article. I shared the article in the comment section already, talking about, I think it really inspired me to purchase the domain and to really work hard to build a community on Clubhouse and bring that traffic to my own house, right? Yeah. So we have so many. Were you trying to say something, Tristan? Did I cut you off?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so we have quite a few questions. So Susan, and thank you for joining us live. And she asked, with all the rooms that are available, I know like a lot, and topics being so broad, how are you discovering the rooms that you want to see or be?
The best rooms are based on who the people are, because you might start a room and it's about one topic and pretty soon it goes to another topic. So go by who the people are, not by what the topics are. When you first join Clubhouse and you're not following many people, fine, you can do that. But literally the way that you grow is through who you follow. So if you can see, I'm actually following too many people. I'm following 1,500 people. You can see here, your experience in the hallway, which is right here. The hallway, which is before you get to the rooms, is based on who you follow. So there is an incentive to follow other people. This is not like Twitter where like, come follow me, or Instagram, I want 10,000 followers. Who you follow is going to drive your experience. I made a post on Clubhouse on Facebook, ironically, a week ago. And I said, man, Clubhouse is just full of these people who are millionaires helping other millionaires and billionaires with millionaires to make millionaires. Like, I'm all millionaired out, bro. Right. And I was cynical because I know a lot of these people that are in these rooms and they are not millionaires, but they want to give millionaire advice, which is the personal brand, the 21-year-old life coach, like that kind of thing, right? That's and right. Stelzner came in and he said, I don't get any of that when I'm in Clubhouse because I actively control who I follow. So it's the same thing with Facebook or any other social network. If your Facebook news feed is filled with garbage, it's because you haven't curated who you're following. You haven't curated the pages that you're following. If you're constantly clicking on Donald Trump, what kind of content are you going to see on your newsfeed? More Donald Trump. So anyone who has a bad experience on Clubhouse, they're actually a bad networker.
Oh, wow. That's such a great point. Everyone is resonating. I agree. It's like, that's how the algorithm works, right? The people we follow and the interest group that we're checking off, we are sending signals to Clubhouse. Those are the things that we're interested in. So send more of those people to us. So we need to be more intentional in terms of the people we follow and the rooms that we join. That's a great point. Yeah. And so here's a question that I actually got asked a lot. And when do you think Clubhouse will be available in Android? And also one of my friends, and she has many friends who have hearing disabilities and challenged. So based on, given that this platform is completely audio, so how about for those people who have accessibility issues? And when do you think Clubhouse, I don't know if this is a too big question for you, Dennis, do you know, like when they will be available to people who are using Android and they will make it more accessible to other people with hearing, different types of disabilities?
Yeah, people ask that. That's probably the very first question people ask. No one has an answer except for the founders. And there's only 9 people that work at Clubhouse. So it's a very small team. And they say soon. Yeah, it's not a big company. They're just out of the East Bay. And everything's in beta right now, and they're going to keep it in beta. So I think that they're saying it with two reasons. One is it's in beta because they're trying to test it, because they don't want this to devolve into hate forum, people getting mad, because that's kind of where America is, even though it's not only America, but there's a lot of that going on right now, and they're trying to avoid that. There are a lot of problems in Clubhouse of that happening. But number two is it's actually the most intelligent growth strategy to create FOMO, because the first people were there were the A-list celebrities, and they did that intentionally, because then everyone else wants to be there with the A-list celebrities to be able to get a chance to talk to Grant Cardone or whoever these other people are that are well-known, that Hollywood sorts of people. And those are the experiences that you hear, which is, oh, I was in a room and I actually got to talk to so-and-so, or even the idea that maybe you could talk to so-and-so, you're in that room, but you don't get to. You feel like at any moment, maybe you could raise your hand and be called up on the stage, is what causes people to want to be there. So the whole Android and why don't they release all these other features, I believe is intentional, and they will continue to have it this way until this newness is worn off. I'm pretty sure they could release an Android companion quickly. I'm pretty sure they could release all the other features with the new clubs, because it's called Clubhouse. They haven't even released the new club membership piece, which is how they're going to monetize, right? They're intentionally holding back on that because they want to have a great experience. Just like dating sites or news sites, they're releasing everything for free to get a lot of people in there, and then they start charging $10 a month. So they're intentionally holding back on that.
That's really interesting. I definitely love their strategy. And the only reason that I decided to give Clubhouse a try was because people like Dennis, almost all of my friends, they were pinging me and tagging me. Like, I finally gave in. I was like, what is this about? And so here, and I think someone asked, it was Zizi asking question, with the Clubhouse, you still have to receive an invitation. At least that's when I was still, right? So do you have a limited amount of invitations that you can give?
Yeah, I've been out of invitations for quite some time. I think they give you something like 4 or 5 at a time. And then if people accept it, then they give you more back. And I saw just now, I got a notification here. It says this, you have 3 new invites. Who would you see that at the top? Who would you like to invite? Right. So I don't want to post this, because then I'll get 50 people that say, can you invite me? And I'm only have, only 3 slots. So I don't even want to mention it. Right.
And you can also approve friends who are on the wait list as well. You can see friends in your contacts and friends that you have that have already requested to join Clubhouse, but they haven't gone there yet. And so if you see that and you have a few invites, you can let them in and send them a quick text. I've done that with a few people, and they're like, thank you so much. People are selling these invitations.
Wow.
Check this out.
That's so
those who are not in Clubhouse, look at my phone. So if I come over here to the invites tab, the messaging tab, look at who I can invite. You see this? I can invite, these are in my contacts list. So I can invite Jake Paul, Torrance Memorial Hospital, which is where my mom is right now. Tom, who runs Pitbulls, he's Pitbull's manager. Like, there's all these are people in my phone who I can invite. Dave Berg, who's the CEO of Redirect Health. Stuart Rogers, you can see like who my friends are, right? So the people I can invite are those who I have their phone number. So if you have the phone number in your address book on your iPhone, because it's iPhone only, then they're going to, now notice this other thing too. I have not seen anyone say this. Why do you think Jake Paul is here at the very top of the list?
Yeah.
Why do you think, for example, Stuart Rogers or AJ Wilcox, our mutual friend, AJ Wilcox, our LinkedIn friend, right?
I know. Ads. Yeah.
Yeah. Why is he in the top 10 of all the people? Because look, if you scroll through my address book, there's thousands of people in here, right? But why do you think people like AJ Wilcox and Jake Paul are at the top?
That's a great point. I don't know.
And this is intelligent, because when you understand this, you understand what is the driving thrust behind Clubhouse, what's made it so popular. Here's the answer. Jake Paul and I have 454 mutual friends on Clubhouse.
Wow.
And I can see other folks that are popular but are not on Clubhouse. So this intentionally, their invite strategy is intentionally creating more FOMO. Do you understand that? So it's looking at my address book and finding who the most powerful people are that are not on Clubhouse and recommending that I invite them first. And they only give me 3 invites, right? So of the 3, who am I going to invite? Someone way down the list, or am I going to invite Jake Paul and Pitbull's manager?
That is smart.
They are smart, not me. I'm saying they are smart. This is
But
Clubhouse.
you discovered that. I don't think anyone, to prepare for our interview, I watched quite a few videos on this topic and I read quite a few blog articles. I don't think anyone actually cracked that, Dennis. So that this is the first time of me hearing this. So that is incredible. Definitely FOMO. How about this? So as I mentioned earlier, the reason for me to join was definitely because of FOMO, right? Everyone is talking about this. But on the other hand, from the content creator's perspective, like Clubhouse reminds me of Snapchat a little bit, right? Like it's so popular when it came out and content also disappears. And for me, you know how hard it is, maybe not for you. For most people, it is very hard to create content, right? Like you have to be a content machine. And knowing that my content is not like for me in my live streaming, I do a blog, I get clips, I get like a number of things. But for Clubhouse, I feel like my content is wasted. So what do you think about that? The fact that the content actually disappears, I understand generates FOMO. But on the other hand, will that push content creator away?
It actually works. And here's why. So I came at it from a search engine marketing standpoint, a content creator standpoint, where when I create content, I want it to live forever. I want other people to experience it, because if I'm in a room with only 20 people and I give the most amazing performance or whatever, and then no one else gets to see it, it's a waste. And I have so limited time that maybe I can record it. But if you press record, then the warning will pop up saying, oh, not allowed to record. You'll get kicked off of Clubhouse if you try to record, right? So then I thought, this doesn't really make any sense. Plus, I like to record video at the same time. So why only audio? Actually, I like that too, because then I can be naked or in the bathroom or whatever. This is probably TMI. I've spent a lot of time on the toilet on Clubhouse because they can't see me, right? And then people will hear me in the Clubhouse room like, Dennis, are you in the bathroom?
There are only 2 types of Clubhouse users: people who use Clubhouse in the bathroom and people who lie about it. There you go.
That's right.
Wow, that's interesting.
So here's the way to think about it. And this is something, I think it's because I'm old. I'm over 40 and I didn't understand this. The reason why this disappearing stuff like Instagram stories or Snapchat allows for disappearing is it allows you to be more authentic, because you know it's not being saved. It allows, and that's what Clubhouse is doing. They've stripped away everything that could potentially get in the way of someone not wanting to share their best information. So I think of it as public speaking. And this is a perfect storm, because ever since COVID, the big conferences have been shut down. Right? You and I know, because we go to the big conferences. There were 12 big conferences across the world I was supposed to speak at in the last year, all over Asia and Europe and South America. I've not even left the United States for the last year. Can you believe that? I've not left the United States. I used to be everywhere, you know? And so there are people that are like me, or other business people or figureheads or speakers, author, speaker, coach, that kind of people. And they need an outlet to be able to express. And when you get a lot of the same kinds of people together, a lot of the other people that I would want to impress, or people that would want to impress me, it creates a situation where everyone wants to put their best content forward, their best knowledge forward. And if you follow the logic of that, that eventually leads to people over boasting about their success, because they always want to represent themselves as being the best. And when the rooms get larger, because the strategy, this is the other thing that people don't get. The large rooms get large because they have people in them with large followings. So when I come into a room, I have almost 5,000. That might add another 40 or 50 people to the room, right? And so so there's kind of a terrorist algorithm side to what's going on, where the big rooms here, I'll just go into one of these big rooms just to show you what it looks like. So here I'm in this first room here, the power circle, how ordinary people build extraordinary wealth. 894 people in the room, 27 speakers. And if we look at the number of speakers that are here, and I'll just turn the volume down so no one else can hear this. Now you see the ones with the green dot next to them, right? Those are all AI, are you there? Those are all moderators. So I can count, there are 10 moderators here. 10 moderators, 27 speakers. And then if I scroll through the rest, all the rest of the other people that are here, right? So the reason that the way the rooms get big is by having many moderators that have lots of other powerful people that have a lot of followers. And this is a dynamic that they've not figured out yet. They will figure it out in the next month or two, so that the hallway, which is the list of all the rooms, is not dominated with the big rooms of people who are constant, because people will try to ping me into their room because they know that that's going to add more people that follow digital marketing, right? It could even be a ridiculous topic. Like we made one 2 nights ago, like hanging out with Dennis, talking about random things. And a bunch of people joined that room because they just think that, you know what it is? I'll tell you. They want to come in and ask their digital marketing question, right?
Pick
and
your
even though I wanted to talk about some other random things, they pretty soon, like our bet was like, how long will it be before someone has a Facebook ads question? About 30 seconds, right? Because they come in, they raise their hand. Hey, Dennis, I know you're talking about this other thing, but I just have this one Facebook ads question for you. Like, okay, what is it?
Right, that's
so
right.
I think the conversation is going to devolve into things like that. And Clubhouse, I think, will go out of beta once they figure out how to allow for conversations in the smaller rooms that are actually topical, that remove the incentive of FOMO where everyone wants to speak on the big stage. So all it takes is one person to want to wreck a room. And I've seen it happen a couple times because everyone who's a moderator has the same level of permission. So me as a moderator in a room, I can end the room and kick everyone else out. Even if Tony Robbins is in there, I can kick him out because all the moderators have the same level of privilege. So Clubhouse hasn't figured that out. So the reason why it works right now is because it's FOMO. So FOMO causes people to, the fact that I can be in a room with 3,000 people and speak as I have a few times, that's for someone who wants to be a public speaker, that's crack. Who doesn't want to speak on a stage in front of 3,000 people?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But what you'll see in the next 3 months is burnout. So people like me can't spend 3 hours a day. Our buddy Kurt Walker is one of the most connected people on the planet. And he came over to our house last weekend. How old did he look? Look
Oh
at
my
the
gosh. He was so aged. He had not slept in weeks, and you could see it in his eyes. And he kept it on Clubhouse the whole time. He had his phone sitting on the other side of the room.
Yeah. Listening while we were having a conversation. Now he was trying to multitask, and he created the longest running Clubhouse room, 17 days straight.
What? That's, oh my God.
That? And he was up almost the entire time. Sometimes just, I would get up in the middle of the night to go pee. And then just for fun, I would open Clubhouse just to see if he was still on, right? And there he is. He's still on. He's still moderating. He's still,
the amount of deals he's brokered and the amount of relationships he's brokered by being on there and saying, hey, Dennis, so-and-so just hopped in. Come hop into our room. Yeah. And then he texts other people, hey, so-and-so just hopped in. I know they're going to have a question about Facebook ads. You've spent $1 billion on Facebook ads. Come in this room. Yeah. So you see that sense of community from the leaders in the app. And where else are you going to see 40 speakers on a stage? There's not going to be 40 microphones at Social Media Marketing World, for example.
It's the access. You know that, right? This is the stuff. Clubhouse has created a mastermind in the palm of your hand. This is where you'd have to pay $50,000. I've been to 40 or 50 of these masterminds where I didn't pay 50, but other people paid 50. I'm a speaker, so I get in for free, right? And you're getting the same quality of conversation. And other people here are saying, yeah, that's true, right? I actually got to hear advice from so-and-so on this other topic. I would have never seen that in a blog post. I would have gotten that at a conference, right? So that's what creates the FOMO and the intimacy about about Clubhouse, which is the same thing back to the algorithm of how they do inviting and how they decide how the rooms grow.
Very interesting. Oh my God, I'm learning so much. And Kendra, actually quite a few people have been making similar points, talking about how valuable, Deb talked about this earlier. So I love how you mentioned, I hope Clubhouse can figure this out. Not only the thousands of people, I noticed when the room is really big, the moderator generally turn off raising hand feature. So you feel like you can't really raise hand anymore, but mainly more so in the passive listening mode. So I hope they can figure that out. That's such a great point. And also, so we have a question from, I'm trying to Oh, so many questions. So here, Alice, thank you for joining us live on LinkedIn. And she said that she has very limited knowledge about Clubhouse, but definitely wants to know more, inspired by you. And what is the overarching mission of Clubhouse? I feel like this is a good question for everyone to know if you are not yet familiar with the platform.
Yeah. Clubhouse bills themselves as live drop-in audio, but obviously their mission is a little bit deeper than that. I believe that they want to be able to connect people in a social network based on knowledge sharing in audio. So think of it as what Quora was trying to do. So Quora was Q&A based on text, but because it wasn't live, hey, Julia, because it wasn't live, it didn't create the kind of immediacy and intimacy and the ease of being able to share information. You think about all the other social networks that have moved to video where there's dancing and funny little stories, but that requires video editing. There's so much knowledge from people like you and me that have more knowledge than a 20-year-old, but we don't want to be dancing on video. And so I feel like Clubhouse, even though there are a lot of young adults that are there and celebrities, it's ultimately for the average person or the person who isn't really a social media person, but still wants to connect with other people. I believe there isn't a social network for those people. And they don't want to be on LinkedIn. They don't want to be doing all these ridiculous things like posing in front of Lamborghinis. You can't show your Lamborghini, although you could probably have a wave file to play the sound of a Lamborghini or something, right? But it wouldn't be the same thing. It's truly focusing on your knowledge and your relationships. And I think they want to be the social graph of knowledge.
Yeah, powerful. And here is a great question from Zizi. By the way, Zizi has more invitations to give away. If anyone is interested, send him a DM on Facebook. So like, I know like on Clubhouse, you can either join a room or create one. So which one do you recommend? And like, what do you do the most? Dennis, share that with us.
I spend most of the time in other people's rooms because they keep inviting me. I was in a Clubhouse room 2 hours ago with our friend Sean Dill. So our key investor for Tristan and I for Chiro Revenue is Sean Dill, who's #1 chiropractor. And he created a room talking about marketing operations and finance and what we need to do in 2021 to create certainty. And he invited me to be a moderator. So of course I'm going to spend time there, but I have so many invites to be in these different rooms. I have really no time to do my own rooms. Plus, I would rather be in rooms with other people that are with our community, of our clients, of the people that I want to spend time with. And I don't view, a lot of people might think, well, if I create my own room, then it's my brand and I'm famous and I control it. Have you moderated a room before? Anyone here, if you've never moderated a room before, you're going to discover that it is a nasty task. And you have to shut down people that want to keep talking. You have to bring people up. You have to reset the room. You have to, there is no moderation. I think they'll build that into the app. They didn't tell us this, but that's what I believe they'll do. That it's just so much better to have someone else do it. Here's another example. If you've run your own conference, I've run, as you know, we've run multiple conferences. It is a lot of effort. If you've not run a conference before, maybe a party or a wedding or so, there's just a lot of logistics. This is the same kind of thing, except it's worse because anybody can come in and take hostage by being a moderator, or if you let them onto the stage as a speaker, they can then throw bombs at you. So it becomes more difficult to be able to plan and organize and keep the room under control. Once the room goes over 100 people, I find it's a lot harder to be able to manage the room. If the room is like 20, 30 people, sure, you don't really need to be a strong mod, but it's better to be in someone else's room. Now for practice, you could start up a room and you call it Dr. I's room on how do you teach students in a classroom without walls, or let's talk about this topic, right? And you just keep it to your friends and you're very careful about who you let in. That's a great way to practice. But I think the best way is you join other rooms where you know the other people. And by the way, that's how you see what rooms you see in the hallway is you follow these other people. But the people who actually are your friends, they'll let you in. You guys can have conversations. And that's just the best way to grow. If you're there to try to sell things or be famous, you're going to fail.
I love those really, really great tips. And I love this comment from Krista, lucky days. It's truly my lucky day to have Dennis here. And she's going to start hosting event. So here's a question from Julia. Thank you for joining us live, my friend. And so what do you think about the longevity? Actually, that's one of my questions of this app. Is it a shiny object? Or that you see this as a major social media player in this space that we really must pay attention to. So what do you think? Why not?
I wrote a blog post on this a week ago at dennis-u.com. But of course, things change so quickly that I now revise my opinion a bit. What I said a week ago is that there's so much animosity and people that are struggling, people that are angry because of current events. They need some kind of outlet. If they're in California, they're locked inside. They can't go outside. They can't, it's just, there's a lot of stress. There's mental health issues. There's some real issues that have happened. It's not Clubhouse's problem, but it ends up being their problem. And until they put in place controls, they're going to face the same kind of issues that Twitter and Facebook and Google have faced from bad things that occur inside their community, right? Uber's gotten in trouble because some riders have been sexually assaulted by the drivers. Facebook has gotten in trouble because there have been shooters that have posted their killing videos, whatever, and they weren't able to stop it fast enough. And Facebook could claim, well, someone else was just using our platform. Why are we responsible for their content? Well, that's the same argument that Clubhouse is going to have. What if something bad, I've yet to really see it happen, but what if something really bad were to happen inside Clubhouse? Whose fault would it be? And I guarantee you that's going to happen, right? It's just a matter of time until some kind of nonsense happens on Clubhouse.
I mean, you were bullied. Sorry to interrupt, but you shared on Facebook that there was at least one time you were being attacked, right? Bullied.
Yeah, I got attacked. It's kind of funny. And I've even been attacked in person or via email. And I don't want to go into the details, but you and I, English is not our first language. And people will judge us and stereotype us in certain kinds of ways. It's not that we're out here to try to prove it or try to, yellow lives matter or anything like that. I think it's kind of funny because I don't even care about those. I don't care about the topics in the same way the other people care about it, right? I believe we should just focus on success. And when you help people win and they achieve the standard, then that's the way it needs to be. You don't lower the standard. You help everyone achieve the standard. But you see this kind of thing happening, and unless Clubhouse puts in place these kinds of controls, 2 or 3 things are going to happen. One is that you're going to see things devolve into what's happened with forums and YouTube channels and where it just devolves into name calling, right? Every single channel in the last 30 years, 40 years, all the way back to forums and bulletin boards and dial-up and BBS and all that, started with an amazing group of people. So I was there on the internet in the very beginning, in the very first few days, which is incredible. When there were only a few hundred people on the internet, I was there. That tells you how old I was, right? And it was great because I was literally several feet away from the people that built the internet, that built the foundation of what we're using today. I would literally, have lunch with these people, right? And it was such an incredible experience, just like what people are saying about Clubhouse. And then eventually it just devolves into, like, once the masses come, the marketers come and ruin everything. They ruin Instagram. They ruin Facebook. They ruin blogs. They ruin, text messaging. They ruin direct mail, right? That's not true, right? And it used to be that a phone, do you remember, Dr. I, or everyone here, where you get a phone call like 20 or 30 years ago? It's long distance. Hurry up, come to the phone. It's long distance, right? Do you remember?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And when you get mail, remember how special it was?
Mail, right? Yes.
Yeah, it was awesome, right? Whether it's email, like, oh, wow, somebody sent me an email. But now it's just junk. Now it's just promotional stuff. Now it's these email autoresponder things. And the same is going to happen with Clubhouse until they have these kinds of controls. The negativity, the marketers that are over promotional, that want to be able to sell their items. I don't think that there's a clear answer for how Clubhouse is going to do it. And if they don't solve that in the next 6 months, I think they're going to be nearly dead, because the people I know who are the most successful on Clubhouse, they're getting burnt out, because initially they were there because it was exciting, but nobody can sustain physically being 3 hours a day inside the app. And even if they could drink all the Red Bulls on the planet, they would run out of things to say.
And so it's going to feel repetitive for the speakers, and for the user experience. As more users come in, it's going to feel like the first day of school, right? And so they're going to be expecting everything that they've heard everyone talk about. But now the speakers have answered, like Dennis might be in a room that's about paddleboarding, but people come in and they're like, well, Dennis, you're in a Facebook ads expert. Answer my question real quick. Yeah. Right. And so we're going to see that more and more with those influencers. So they're going to have to choose their time very, very wisely. And that's going to make some rooms very, very high authority, but it's going to make small rooms harder to maintain unless you're with a close net group of people.
Yeah. If they don't fix this in 6 months, Clubhouse is going to become Toastmasters.
Wow. That's a tweetable for sure. Yeah.
I
So
love
how about,
Toastmasters. Don't get me wrong. Any guys on Toastmasters? That's how you learn to speak, by the way.
that's right. So how about monetization? So as I'm listening to you talk, both of you, I'm thinking as those influencers become really out of, plus they have to run a business, right? I can't imagine running a business or multiple business and being on Clubhouse all day long. So do you think there will be some like VIP or membership like rooms where people have to pay, like YouTube, right? So you pay a certain amount of money to become a member like that. Do you see that coming as a way kind of to balance things out a little bit, preserve energy and make it not so easy to people for people to have access to influencers?
I don't have the answer, but I can guess. No one has the answer. There are only two ways to monetize on the internet. One is through ads, which is what the other social networks do, which of course creates certain kinds of issues based on that business model. And the other one is membership. And most membership models are based on like a Netflix monthly kind of thing, or like a publisher, New York Times subscription. I pay for the Wall Street Journal. I love the Wall Street Journal. That's my favorite thing to read. Print, I go all the way back 30 years ago, right? And so people understand the idea of paying for a subscription or getting it for free, but having ads. And I just don't see them monetizing through the ads model. I don't see how ads are going to work inside Clubhouse because I don't see it as radio stations with ads. A lot of people are trying to make a radio station analogy to Clubhouse. I don't think so. Even though there is the general dynamic of there are more listeners than speakers. So it is almost like a publishing platform where a few people are speaking and most people are listening. But I think Clubhouse is going to be more towards connecting because I think the rooms are going to be smaller. I think they're going to branch out into more topics. I think the personal development, learn how to make $1 million, people will get tired and move on to the next thing. And then the rooms will then move into local communities of friends that actually know each other, building deeper relationships because they can't get together because of COVID. And then they're going to charge a membership. The reason people joined Facebook in the first place was not because it was a great social network. It was because their friends were there. The reason why Facebook, for example, is the #1 photos app on the planet is not because it has the best features. It's because that's where people are posting photos and the system is auto tagging who your friends are. It's because that's where your friends are. And Facebook is gunning, not Facebook, Clubhouse is gunning for being the place where your friends are to share knowledge and be able to hang out. And it's almost like COVID was timed perfectly for them because people wanting to connect, they can't see their friends for various reasons. And the next best thing is Clubhouse. And it creates a semi-public environment. It's public because technically anybody could be let into the room. It's semi-public because you have to let them in, right?
That's right. That's right. And also you don't have to be on camera. So I think that's also a good thing, right? You don't always have to be camera ready. Can be on the toilet, right? So here, Alexander asks, are there any rooms for nonprofit organizations that people kind of pitch their ideas and ask for donations? And do you know, Dennis?
I've seen a lot of these shark-related tanks, and actually Kevin Harrington and these other folks have been in these rooms where people are pitching. I saw Mark Cuban in there. I saw Damon John in there. For nonprofits, I've not seen that, but it's not to say that there couldn't be. And there are a lot of people that are talking about nonprofits as part of marketing, as part of organizing, as part of how do you build a community. But certainly whoever asked that, you could create a room on that and see who else wants to join.
Yeah, and I saw in the comments somebody had noticed that a group in a room had donated $36,000 to single moms. And we've been in rooms where people have opened up the floor for donations, you know, pitch your idea or what you need it for, and will, you know, donate, you know, $1,000 to a cause that you care about. So that definitely happens, but being intentional from the top to answer the question, just depending on the room. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And this the last comment and from Krista, then we're going to wrap this up. And resonating with what you shared earlier, Dennis, you know, spammers. And now, because all of a sudden, all those marketers are sending you text messages, like to remind you to do this and, you know, join the masterclass. Now, like that used to be my clean space. Now I'm just like, you know, I don't really check my text messages anymore. So I agree. I think it's a great topic to talk about. So kind of to wrap this up, Dennis, so anything about Clubhouse that you think we need to know, but we haven't had a chance to discuss?
Buy your name with the .club domain. Do that. Build your community. Figure out how you can integrate Clubhouse with all your other marketing activities. Look, if you got a real business, I'm not going to expect that you're going to spend 2 or 3 hours a day on Clubhouse, but you certainly should spend some time to be able to build connections. Think about what it is that you do that provides value for other people. This creates a focusing channel for you, right? You can see that article that you're putting there, right? What should you do if you don't, if you have a domain addiction? I bought a whole bunch of domains. Our friend Sean Dill runs the Black Diamond Club, so I bought blackdiamond.club. Isn't that awesome? Think about anyone else that's got a club, buy their domain, hold it on to them, and give it to them as an early gift, and say, hey, did you see Dennis's article? Literally share that article saying, hey, you need to buy these domains. And then when they go to GoDaddy or wherever to check, they find, oh my goodness, someone already took tristanparmley.club. And oh no, what am I going to do? And then you say, that's because I bought it for you. Here it is.
I love it. It's such a great idea. It really inspired me. I'm going to check out classroomwithoutwalls.club. What a brilliant idea. Yeah, I love it. Tristan, do you have anything you want to share or add based on what Dennis shared with us already?
I would have just doubled down on what Dennis has said. I've noticed in Clubhouse, the community coming together, take advantage of it. If you have an invite lingering and you haven't joined, you should definitely join and see it for yourself versus, staying online or asking. Some people, they don't want to be early adopters to things because, they feel like if they're giving in, if they join. I would say do it, because right now there are some of the most, high value in terms of consulting or paying for their time. People on the platform giving away everything like Dennis has. And you don't want to miss that opportunity.
That's right.
So you might as well hop on.
That's right. Awesome. And my final question for you, Dennis, I know you have such a passion for young people. And and you have been in this space for so many decades. So if a young person approaches you to ask for some life, career, business advice, given that this is the beginning of a new year, what would you tell this young person?
I'd say follow Tristan Parmley, because you're only known as good as the people that you've taught, right? If someone claims that they're a great golf instructor, don't listen to what they have to say about golf instruction. Look at their students and look at whether those people are able to improve. So if I say that my mission is to empower people to be able to be entrepreneurs or have a good living as young adults or not so young adults, the proof is in the pudding. So you have Tristan sitting right next to me here, and you can see his journey. You can see how he's learned. You can see all the other people, Dr. I, that have been in our program, and see how they've progressed. Ask them, because it's not that I don't want to help. I'm happy to help. I'd love to see people. I'd love to cheer other people on. I see it all the time. But there's no one who's going to relate better to you than someone in your shoes. If you're a single mom, then talk to other single moms and see what they're doing. And they're going to have a more appropriate, more empathetic view than me, right? Talk to other people that are closer to where you are. And that's what I think Clubhouse and Facebook and these other places, they bring other people together, centralized around a particular mission, people who have the same background and same values. But if you want to reach me, you can always look for me, Google me, look at me on LinkedIn or Twitter, Instagram, message me. I'm here learning too. I want to see what everyone else is doing. And if you're watching this on the replay, I'd love to get your feedback. And if there's something that you find that's working for you, share it with us, because I want to learn. I want to be able to feature you if you're doing something awesome.
Yeah, we have so many great comments from everyone. Everyone loved it. So thank you so much. And a big thank you to Dennis and Tristan. I'm going to connect with you, Tristan. Maybe you can come to the show or come to my other show, which focuses on education. We have lots of young people there. You can inspire them. So we'll definitely connect with you on Facebook. Yeah. And thank you so much again, everyone, from literally all over the globe, staying up late or getting up early, joining us live. And big thank you to Dennis and Tristan for spending an hour with us. What a great honor. So thank you so much. Definitely check out Dennis and also check out Tristan. Connect with them and check out them on Clubhouse. So thank you so much for a great interview. And next week, same time, same location, I have another amazing business digital marketer come to our show. So definitely come back. Hope to see you again. And thank you so much again, Dennis and Tristan. Take care, everyone. Yeah, bye.